people starting out in the music industry that want to make a living doing it?
Yeah, I do. And one of the things is that occurs to me that there's a lot of great music out there. There's a lot of great styles of music. There's a lot of young people rediscovering the music that I rediscovered at the same age, and they seem to think that they're inventing this Americana thing. Well, that's been around a long time, baby. My suggestion is to follow your heart, do the stuff that really inspires you. Find something that you can really get going on. And at a certain point, don't we always when we first start say there's somebody that really inspires us, and then we want to be like them. Then there's a certain point where you get really good at being them. Then you stand back and you say, where do I come in? Do I have an identity here? What's my original thing? Then you have to pull back and find out who you're about. I don't think it. I think it's like I'm a mimic. I'm a kind of like a I can hear something, just play it. I have an incredible ear. So.
But you have your own style.
I don't know if I do. I think that's just from two brothers playing together a long time. You know, we just have that thing. I can fill in where he. You know, it's kind of like, you know. I mean, compare us to Lennon McCartney, but you know how one guy would say where the other guy finished the other. Fill in where the other guy came up short. Me and my brother have always been like that with each other, and I think that's some kind of, if there is any chemistry, it's being able to make the other person sound good. Mm-hmm. You know, think about it. You know, how many gigs you're going to get? You know, going in the studio by being a star. No, you get a call to go into a studio and do a session to make someone else sound good, mm-hmm. to learn how to play with other people. It's not, you know, when we start in music, it's all very linear, that it's our thing. We're going to be the star. People are going to love me, you know, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not that. It's about us playing together, creating a space together, getting some magic together, getting us out of this doldrum.
Of just one day, everybody in this one world would simply turn and say to your next door neighbor, enemy or friend, I will take the time to listen to your needs and will defend your beliefs and convictions. If for the good of man, we must all take that minute to try and understand. From the dawn of man, we have wondered.
If there's political resistance, if there's environmental issues, if there's things that you have passion about, well, that could be the impetus. That could be the inspiration to come out with something on your own. That's your original thing, whatever it is that you have passionate about, you know. And getting in with people that have this, you know, like minds, with, you know, you mentioned these up and coming young guys playing the traditional music, the Crooked North and the Brothers Blue, and these fellas down here in Naples, Aaron Lip, he's freaking amazing. There's great musicians down this area that are playing, you know, the whole Ithaca connection, the Rochester connection. There's always been good music in Rochester since growing up. When I was growing up, when we were kids, it was Bat and Don, you know, Don Potter and Bat McGrath, and groups that came up, and we wound up opening up for, and then wound up playing with these different groups, you know, and inspirational to us, and being able to open up for Rick Danko and him pulling up under his arm and having us play with him, and Tommy Makem from the Clancy Brothers. It wound up being a mentor for us, and different people like that. And you know, and in some kind of way that people would come up to me and say, hey, I want to play the banjo, or well, yeah, try this or try that. And in my own little way, I would do the same kind of thing your dad did, as far as inspiring people and giving them encouragement, you know, that, you know, yeah, you can do this.
Well, sometimes there's a change in the weather. Well, sometimes a change in the sea. Well, now sometimes a change in my own true love. Ain't never a change in me. When I'm rolling my sweet baby's arm, I'm rolling my sweet baby's arm. I'm gonna lay around the shack, hit them and break them back. I'm rolling my sweet baby's arm.
Everything is so packaged in the music world today that, you know, everything's so, you know, mixed and auto-tuned and pro-tooled and everything else so much that, you know, things kind of sound kind of plastic to me. To me, I you know, there's a lot of people, these Luddites, like Ben Harovich calls them, where they were just kind of saying, no, we're just going to sit around and play music. Let's create this space we have together, this time we have in a kind of, you know, we go into a kind of a roots kind of way and rudimentary and work out that and you know, embellish that. And, you know, I'm not saying point a finger at saying, you know, this is wrong. Things, but you know, it's a funny thing. Everything kind of always reverts back to roots somehow. You know, people come out and then all of a sudden, you know, there's all these fancy recordings of this and that and the other, and then someone comes out with a simple little ballad with a guitar or one piano and a voice, and they nail it. And then, you know, like that song from Once just took off. It was a very simple song, but it touches something very deep down in the heart, very powerful. So then, you know, before you know it, there's people out there. When I was 12 years old, my parents took me to, I've told this story several times, my mom and dad took me to a drive-in theater up in Clayton. But it was Bonnie and Clyde, the movie. It's 50 years of that.
Right.
And it was at a drive-in theater, and the speaker was in the window. You know, those little speakers that you put in the window, and the backing track, the soundtrack was Earl Scruggs doing Foggy Mountain Breakdown, and it just popped out and hit me in the ears, and I'm like, wow. I said, Mom and Dad, I know there isn't a Santa Claus. Will you give me a banjo for Christmas? And they just started laughing. So that was the beginning of me really wanting to be a musician. Up to then, I had the drums and the tambourine, and as you know, we're trying to be Beatles. But that was when I really decided I could play the harmonica, a little bit on the guitar. But the banjo was the first instrument that I sat down, and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours playing that banjo. So, in my mind, you know, wherever you start from, if as a kid, if your parents gave you piano lessons, well, in your mind's eye, everything shakes out with notes in the piano keys. You know, in my mind, it's a banjo neck. In my mind, you know, it's the neck of a guitar or a banjo laid out in front of me, and all the different possibilities are there. So it's a very, very kind of black and white kind of thing, you know, in my memory, that I can figure out those inversions and those chords and, you know, chord substitutions, rhythmic things, and all that in my mind, just from having all those hours as a teenager in a room by myself. And my mother used to joke, oh, we used to put a plate of food underneath the door, because I'd be in there for so long, hours at a time, you know.
You just were immersed in it.
Immersed in it. I just wanted, you know, and we had tape recorders, but we didn't have pre-recorded. We had tapes we were making, but the records were being ruined by just dropping the needle on that same phrase in that record that we wanted to get right, you know. And then, you know, John and I, we'd start playing with Mike Pavone, and then a guy that he went to college with, Kevin Mall, wound up playing with us. And for about 5 years, we were full. That was the first time we had really thrown in at being a full-time band. We do one-nighters. I mean, we do 20, 30 one-nighters, and you know, and in the summertime it was crazy, right? And we had a sound guy, and with two different sound guys. You know, first guy John Salber, second guy Rick Vinay, and they were great guys. We had a lot of fun situations, but you know, there was a certain point where disco was coming in, and we were kind of a small band. We weren't getting hired in the larger places, and the smaller places weren't paying us very much, so it was very difficult to survive. So that's when my brother pulled off the road by ourselves, and then went as a duo at that point. It was around 80, 81, 82. And then from that point till now, it's just been John and I. But I mean, we play with other musicians too. But that's Whoa. What instrument you want me to play it on?
Do you want to do the banjo?
It's the closest thing beside me there, yeah. I'll get it, honey. Okay. So we're in this play about the life of Stephen Foster. So this is one of the tunes that was in that.
Love that lives, bound by a love that gives, bound by a love that kneels. We're bound by the love we feel, bound by a love that needs, bound by a love that leads, bound by a love that heals. We were bound by the love